The hard drive is in a drawer in your parents' garage in Plano, Texas. It has been there since 2012. And on it, somewhere in a wallet file you haven't opened in 14 years, there are 1,247 Bitcoin. You are 34 years old. You make $94,000 a year as a back-end developer at a healthcare SaaS company. You drive a Mazda CX-5. You have a 401k with a match. You live in a one-bedroom in Austin that costs $1,750 a month, and you still think that's too much. The Bitcoin, if you sold it today, is worth somewhere north of $80 million. It will be $120 million by the time this story ends, and you still won't have sold it. Not because you're waiting for the top, not because you have diamond hands, but because you are genuinely, quietly terrified of what happens when you do. You mined it in 2011, spring semester of your junior year at the University of Texas. You had a Dell desktop with a decent GPU, nothing crazy, and you'd stumbled across this Bitcoin thing on a forum, Bitcoin Talk. You just let a mining script run in the background while you studied for midterms. The fan whined constantly. Derek complained about the noise. You told him it was a distributed computing project, folding at home, for science. You mined for 6 months. You paid $0 for electricity because the university did. At some point, you had something like 1,400 coins. You spit 153 of them. You bought pizza twice from a place on Guadalupe. You donated 50 coins to a forum developer. You sent 20 to a friend as a joke, like it was Monopoly money, because it basically was. $8 a coin, maybe $12 on a good day. It didn't feel like burning a future house. It felt like spending arcade tokens. Then you graduated, got a job, moved. The hard drive went into a box, then a drawer, and you just didn't think about it for a long time. You didn't lose the keys in a landfill. You didn't throw it away. You just forgot. The way you forget a lot of things from college that once felt important. 2017 rolls around and Bitcoin hits $19,000. You're sitting in an open-plan office in North Austin when a coworker, Jeremy, who owns 3 pairs of identical khakis and will not stop talking about crypto at lunch, mentions the price. You freeze. Not visibly, you think, but something stops inside you. You remember the drive. You remember exactly where it is. You call your mom that night and ask her to check the drawer in the garage. She says, "Which drawer?" And you say, "The one with the calculator." And she says she'll look in the morning. You don't sleep. She calls back the next day and says she found it. She describes it like contraband. It's very dusty. You drive to Plano that weekend. 3.5 hours. You hold the drive in your hands and it's lighter than you remember. You plug it into an old laptop. The drive spins up. It works. The wallet file is there. The password is not. You don't know it. You try everything. The wallet stares back at you, encrypted, indifferent. You spend the next 2 years in a specific kind of quiet that people misunderstand entirely. You try a password recovery service. You send the drive to a guy in Toronto who does this for a living. He charges $15,000. He fails.
He sends it back with a note that says, "I'm sorry, I really thought I'd get this one."
Then it's 2021. Bitcoin is $60,000. The drive is in a safety deposit box now. You bought a fireproof safe first, then upgraded to the deposit box because you started having dreams about apartment fires. You find a second recovery specialist. This one is in Zurich. He worked on a wallet for a guy in Wales who had lost 7,500 Bitcoin and got it back. This guy charges $80,000 up front and 10% of recovery. You don't have $80,000. You borrow it. You take out a personal loan. You tell the bank it's for home renovation. The loan officer, a cheerful woman in her 50s, says, "Kitchen or bathroom?" You say, "Both." Zurich works on the wallet for 8 months. He cracks it in November. Tuesday, you're standing in your kitchen, the same kitchen you lied to a bank about renovating, and your phone buzzes. It's a text. It says, "It's done." 2 words. You sit down on the floor. Not for dramatic effect. Your legs just stop working for a second. And then you get up and make a sandwich because you haven't eaten since breakfast and it's 9 p.m. That's the whole moment. That's the thing that changes your life. A text message and a turkey sandwich. Here's what nobody tells you about becoming suddenly, incomprehensibly wealthy in private. The money is there, on a screen, in a wallet, but you can't tell anyone. Not your parents, not your best friend, not the woman you've been seeing for 6 months. Because the second you say it, everything recalibrates around the number. The estranged relatives, the childhood friends with business plans, the lawsuits, the requests that start as favors and become demands. You are not a person anymore. You are a balance. So you liquidate in pieces, small amounts, staggered, through an OTC desk that a crypto tax attorney in New York connects you to.
You pay the taxes, every cent. You structure it through an LLC. Then a holding company. Then a trust. The trust owns the LLC. The LLC owns the wallet. You are the beneficiary. You are also the trustee.
You are, technically, your own employee. The paperwork alone takes 4 months and $220,000 in legal fees. You are spending Bitcoin on lawyers to protect your Bitcoin from the consequences of having Bitcoin. You don't quit your job immediately. That's the part people find strangest when they eventually hear the story. You keep eating lunch at the taco truck on Congress Avenue with Jeremy, who now mostly talks about NFTs and has not noticed that you've been quietly moving millions of dollars through shell companies between sprint planning meetings. You keep showing up to stand-ups. You keep pushing code. You need the Slack messages and the quarterly reviews and the person who microwaves fish in the break room and the whole stupid, mundane structure of it. Because on the other side of the screen, there is $80 million and absolutely no instructions. You tell your parents 6 months later. You fly to Plano. You sit them down at the kitchen table, the same table you did homework on in middle school, and you tell them everything. The mining, the drive, the forgotten password, the guy in Zurich, the trust, the number. You pay off their house. You set up a fund for their medical expenses. You do it quietly, without the ceremonial check, without the video that goes viral. There is no video. There will never be a video. You leave the job eventually. You give notice. You tell them you're taking some time. You don't say for what. Jeremy throws you a goodbye lunch at the taco truck. He says, "You're making a mistake. The market's insane right now." He means the job market. You nod. You thank him. You tip the taco truck $1,000 in cash because you can and because it feels absurd. You're 36 now. The wallet still has 1,200 Bitcoin. You've sold 47. You'll sell more, eventually, when the structure is right, when the tax strategy is optimized, when you've finished quietly funding the foundation you're building that will never have your name on it. That part matters. The name on it. You don't want it there. You want to move money into things that work. Scholarship funds for kids from Plano who want to study computer science, grants for open source developers who are working on privacy tools, a small research lab at UT that studies neurodegenerative disease, the thing your grandmother died from. You don't sit on boards, you don't give speeches. You have one guy, a program officer you hired from a foundation in Chicago, and he handles everything. He's good. He doesn't ask why you want to be invisible. He just does the work. People find out, of course. Some people. A story leaks on a crypto forum. Someone connects a wallet to a transaction, to an LLC, to a name. It's vague, but it's out there. You get emails. You get DMs. You get a LinkedIn message from your old roommate Derek, the one with the wet towels, who says, "Hey man, long time. I heard something crazy. Is it true?" You don't respond. Not because you're angry, but because Derek, 15 years ago, complained about the fan noise while you were mining the thing he's now messaging you about. And there's a symmetry to that silence you don't want to break. You live in the same apartment. That's the detail that never lands right when people ask. The same one bedroom in Austin. You could buy the building. You could buy the block. You don't. You like the coffee shop on the corner where the barista knows your order. You like that the Mazda CX-5 is still in the parking lot with a scratch on the rear bumper from 2022 that you haven't fixed. You date. It's complicated. You don't say what you're worth. You say you work in tech. You say you had some luck with investments. You let it be vague. Some people push, most don't. The ones who push don't get a second date. You're not trying to be mysterious. You're trying to find someone who likes you before they like the number. The hard drive is in the safety deposit box. You visit it sometimes. Not often. Once a year, maybe. You hold it. You don't plug it in. You don't need to. The funds are moved. The wallet is empty on that drive. The drive remembers when you were 20 years old and you let a script run in the background because you were curious. Just curious. And that curiosity, that one small, quiet, completely unremarkable curiosity, is the only difference between you and everyone else who didn't. The barista at the coffee shop knows your order. Large black coffee, sometimes a croissant. She doesn't know about the Bitcoin. She doesn't know about the foundation. She knows you tip well. She knows you sit in the corner and read. She knows your name. That's enough. It's more than enough. It's everything.